Hello everyone, it's Tuesday, July 7th. I'm Stephanie Haney. Welcome back to 3 News Now. Thank you for joining us, where we break down your top headlines from WKYC.com and our WKYC app. There is a lot going on today. We've just got the new numbers in from the Ohio Department of Health. I'll give you a quick summary of that. Every number is up. The cases are up, the deaths are up, the total number of hospitalizations are up, and the total number of ICU admissions are up from yesterday. But before we dive into those numbers, first, we'll get to some breaking news from Governor Mike DeWine's press conference right now. He has just announced that the Ohio Department of Health will issue an order which is effective at 6 p.m. tomorrow on Wednesday, July 8th, that will require face coverings in public for any county that is found to be at a level 3 alert or the highest alert, which is at a level 4 alert here in the state of Ohio. Right now, there are a total of 7 counties that are at a level 3 alert. So tomorrow, starting at 6 p.m., face coverings will be required in public in Butler, Cuyahoga, Franklin, Hamilton, Huron, Montgomery, and Trumbull counties. Of course, that includes the cities of Cleveland and the cities of Columbus, where face coverings have already been mandated. Now, under this executive order, which will go into effect tomorrow at 6 p.m., if these counties drop down to a level 2, the face covering requirement will also drop off. So here are the instances where people will need to wear a face covering in those currently seven level 3 alert counties under that new color-coded alert system here in Ohio. When you're in an indoor location that is not a residence, if you are outdoors and cannot maintain a distance of 6 feet or more from people who don't live in your household. So this was a big question about some of these face covering requirements. So under the executive order from the Ohio Department of Health, if you are in an outdoor space and you cannot stay at least 6 feet away from people who are not in your household, you will be required to wear a face covering. Also, when you're waiting for, riding, driving, or operating public transit, this includes a taxi, a car service, a ride-sharing vehicle. Here's an interesting fact here. The order does not apply to children under the age of 10. An age that we've been seeing focused on a lot is the age of 6, but this order does not pertain to children under the age of 10 or any minor who cannot safely wear a face covering. Now, here in Cuyahoga County, it was expected that the city council would vote on a mandated face covering measure after Mayor Frank Jackson had issued his own executive order on Friday requiring facial coverings here in Cuyahoga County. That was expected today. County Council Executive Armin Budish was expected to unveil his plan, and that would have required face coverings in 3 scenarios. Now, we're still going to talk about this even though there will be an executive order that covers Cuyahoga County, because if Cuyahoga County does happen to drop down to a level 2 and the city council does move forward with this would presumably still be in effect. But very similar to the executive order that Governor Mike DeWine is saying that the Ohio Department of Health will put forward and will take effect on Wednesday. So what Armin Budish was expected to propose today would have required masks in outdoor public spaces when you can't stay 6 feet apart, also in indoor areas that are accessible and open to the public, and while you're waiting in line to get into those places, also in those public transit situations. And there were a long list of exceptions. So the city council measure that was expected to be proposed didn't apply to people under the age of 6. So again, we're seeing that 6-year age. However, the Ohio Health Department executive order will be for children under the age of 10. But the Cuyahoga County measure, if it does move forward, would be children under the age of 6. Also, some of the exceptions included religious facilities. If you're in a bar or a restaurant while you're eating or drinking, if you're in a school setting, as long as you're in compliance with the regulations of that school district. Also places where it's not feasible, like swimming, also not to be required while exercising in a gym. And this included as well enforcement measures. There would be a written warning on your first violation and then a civil penalty of $50 on any second and subsequent violations. But under the Cuyahoga County proposed, which we expected to see from Armin Budish, any city or municipality within the county might opt out of that plan just by passing a measure. And if any city or municipality passed their own measure, that would take precedence over the county measure. So that's where we stand right now here in Cuyahoga County, because we are at a level 3. We are expected to have that executive order, the statewide executive order, take effect at 6 p.m. tomorrow. So get your face coverings ready. And if you don't have one ready, we do have that DIY video that I put together for you all on WKYC.com. If you've been caught without a face covering because you weren't expecting them to be required, that is an easy way for you to make your own for the time being with a square piece of cloth like a bandana. Now let's take a look at the coronavirus numbers here in the state of Ohio. As I said, the case numbers, the deaths, the hospitalizations, and the ICU numbers are up at this time. Today we're seeing 948 new cases reported, bringing that total number to 58,904 here in the state of Ohio. Now, Ohio has also started reporting the presumed recovered numbers. That number is now 41,438, which is maintaining at about 70% of the known cases that we've had here in the state of Ohio. We saw 43 new deaths reported in the last 24 hours, bringing the total number of deaths now in the state of Ohio to now 2,970. We also saw hospitalizations go up quite a bit, almost double from what we saw yesterday. 134 new hospitalizations related to COVID-19 reported in the last 24 hours, bringing that total to 8,383. Active hospitalizations, people who are currently hospitalized, that number is now 849. So what that means is about 10% of the people who have been hospitalized related to COVID-19 are hospitalized right now in a hospital. In terms of ICU admissions, there are now 289 people in the ICU related to COVID-19. That's about 34% of all the people who are hospitalized. So that's up from yesterday too. So a little more than 1/3 of all people who are hospitalized right now related to COVID-19 are in the intensive care unit. We saw 24 new ICU admissions in the last 24 hours, bringing the total number of people who have been admitted to the ICU because of COVID-19 to now 2,101. Now let's take a look at the national and the global numbers related to COVID-19. The U.S., when it comes to known cases and known reported deaths, has about a 4.4% death rate right now. According to Johns Hopkins University, we are now just under 3 million known and probable COVID-19 cases in the nation, and the total number of deaths is now 130,546. Now, the way that compares globally is we are seeing about 25% of the known cases and about 24% of the known deaths. Globally, in terms of known cases and known deaths, there's a 4.6% death rate. So 4.6% of the people who we know have become infected with COVID-19 are passing away from it at this point. The total number of COVID-19 cases globally is now 11,700,000, just under 11,700,000. And the total number of deaths globally related to COVID-19 is now 539,764. Bringing it back here to Northeast Ohio, the Ohio High School Athletic Association has removed Jerry Snodgrass from his position. He will be replaced by interim executive director Bob Goldring as they search for a full-time replacement. They will be conducting a nationwide search to find that full-time replacement. A lot of questions being asked about why Snodgrass has been removed from this position. Goldring has said that he is honored to take on the position and is confident in the people who are in place to help carry out the responsibilities of the role. Goldring also says that his top priority is to prepare for returning to play sports this fall and successfully leading the team until a permanent executive director is hired. Now, there's been no public explanation for the fact that Snodgrass has been removed from OSHA's executive director position right now. Snodgrass has worked with OSHA for the past 12 years and spent the last 2 years as the executive director of the organization. In the past several months, it was under Snodgrass that related to COVID-19 and handling the coronavirus pandemic, both winter tournaments and spring sports seasons were completely canceled. While we don't know exactly why Snodgrass was removed at this time, we do know why they're saying it is not about. We know they're saying that it is not about returning to play in the fall. Board President Dan Leffingwell told Jeff Harrison, quote, We have had 0 conversations to date regarding the return to play plans or any switching of the fall and spring seasons. This had nothing to do with the change of leadership at Osha. So that's what we know right now, and we will continue to update you as the story develops about Snodgrass's removal from that executive director position. Now we're going to end things on a sweet note and celebrate the wedding anniversary of Jimmy and Rosalyn Carter. Today is their 74th wedding anniversary. It was last year in October that they broke the record for the longest married presidential couple in history. That was back in October. Previously, that record was held by the late George H.W. Bush and Barbara Bush. Of course, H.W. passed away in November of 2018. Now, back to Jimmy and Rosalyn Carter. They were married on July 7th, 1946, in Plains, Georgia. And here's a little fun fact about their courtship history. She actually rejected his first marriage proposal. That's because she promised her father on his deathbed that she would finish college and would not get married until she did that. So she graduated from Georgia Southwestern College, which is now Georgia Southwestern State, in 1946. By the way, she was 18 when she graduated, because she was 18 when they got married in 1946. President Carter was 21 when they got married in 1946. Now they are 95 and 92, and they are still going strong. Congratulations to the happy couple on your 74th wedding anniversary, and a truly incredible record as the longest running presidential married couple. That's it now for your 3 News Now afternoon update. We have more from Governor Mike DeWine's press conference happening right now. That's live on our social media platforms, also on WKYC.com and our WKYC app. So if you don't yet have our app, you can download that for free from the App Store if you have an iOS device, and also from the Google Play Store if you have an Android device. So make sure you check that out. I'll have more for you on What's New at 5 p.m., which you can also stream in our WKYC app and watch on Channel 3, as well as on WKYC.com and YouTube. And we'll have plenty more for you in the rest of our shows on Channel 3 tonight on What Matters Most at 6 p.m., Front Row at 7 p.m., and What's Next at 11 p.m. And then again in the morning, very, very early, while I am still sleeping, on the Go Morning Show starting at 4:30. And I'll be back here with you tomorrow at 11 a.m. with the top headlines from WKYC.com and our WKYC app. Everyone, enjoy the rest of your afternoon. I'll see you back here in the morning. I'm Stephanie Haney.